Hey y'all, it's Marshita Patrice, and welcome to the Sacred Homegirl Collective, where we walk through and talk through what it means to live a life of faith, joy, and purpose. And I'm so happy that you are here with us. So pull up some tea or whatever fits your fancy, and let's lock in. I apologize if I sound stuffy or it doesn't sound as clear, or if there's a little bit of mental delays, not physically feeling 100%. But we still gonna show up because we still got a little word. We up in 2026 or whatever. And so we just gonna be here. So last week, we talked a lot about, and I shared the manifestation equation. Basically, what plus how plus obedient acts equals manifestation. What plus how plus obedient acts equals manifestation. The what being the vision, the how being the strategy of getting to that vision, and the obedient acts being those actions where you are moving in alignment with the Holy Spirit, like with guidance, those urges and your beyond just urges, but just directives and going forward. You'll never be like 100% at like, did you really hear him correctly or whatever? But I think at least what I found in my life, what I found in my life is that just going in the direction with the correct heart posture of really truly desiring to be in alignment with the Lord, you're on track, right? Um, and I got a comment, and I will do my best to go back and like shout her out, and the maybe I'll do it in the comments or in the descriptions, but whatever the case may be, moving too quickly. I got a comment on the last video, and she brought up a really good point about it's the obedient acts, but it's also having the right mindsets and beliefs, like that allow that, in addition to the equation, that allow it to come to being. And she's so right. I think I look at mental, like the mind as like mental discipline, and it's like you have it, you build it, you practice it, and sometimes when you are moving in a thing, you kind of take for granted that is a part of the step. So like shout out to her. I'm gonna tag you somewhere on this video to give you some credit. Um, but anyway, so today I want to talk about that. I want to talk about basically how your beliefs, like the power of beliefs, to lead you into the life that you desire and what you are believing for. Basically, you get the life that you believe. You get the life that you believe for. Your mindset, your beliefs, your belief system, and how you decide to make meaning of any experience. Your framing of that is that mindset, that belief, that is going to determine your experience on this planet, as well as your ability to dream and have these big picture visions and be creative about working with God and his strategy, to then be obedient and have the space, the energetic space, to usher in what you are calling for, what you are praying for, what you are pushing for, what you are working towards, into true manifestation and true, alignment. And and getting the life you believe for was something that, in addition to, one of our sacred homegirls calling me in, was something that was really inspired by a really good friend of mine. And she always says, because you always want to have those sisters that you pray with, right? She always says you get the God you believe for. So basically, if you believe he can do it, he can do it. If you believe he won't do it, he won't do it. Not that he can't do it for you, he just won't do it for you, because we serve a consensual God. And what I found is that our belief system is very similar to that. If we believe and we move, like if we truly believe that this thing is possible, right? I heard, I believe it was Michelle Williams, and she was talking about Beyonce and basically saying, if Beyonce has a dream about a performance or whatever, she will work like crazy to bring that into fruition. And the idea behind it is that if she can see it, then it means that it's possible. And I think if a lot more of us adopted this principle, that if we can see it, then it's possible, then so we would be so much closer to moving in our purpose and also just feeling more fulfilled. Because like doing purpose and not having joy is just ridiculous to me, right? Because in my opinion, this is my thought, just my theory, what I know is that there's joy and fulfillment in God's presence. And like being in his presence, being intentional, being in your purpose just invites in more and gives him more space to take up more space in your life. So it just only makes sense that if you're going for your purpose, you get more God and you get more God. And it's like real dope. Like, I don't know. Like, like I said, you get the God you believe for. And I feel like the God that I get, not only is he miraculous and, you know, he can be a little stern with me sometimes, but he is funny. He got jokes. And people may not like this word, but he a little petty too. Cause like, I got these big eyes. They not small, right? My mom, she got some small ones. She can see. She can, I mean, she getting older, so she got to put her glasses on for close, but she can see in the distance. Baby, if I take these glasses off and I have the camera not that far, if I take these glasses off, I won't even be able to see my own facial expression. You can't tell me that that's not petty a little bit. Why you gonna give me big eyes if I can't see with them? You know what I'm saying? Like that's rude, right? And you have like, you know, it's just little stuff like that. Like I remember one time the Lord was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna surprise you," and I was going through a season where it was just like surprise after surprise after surprise, and I didn't like the surprises. I didn't like them. I didn't enjoy them. I stopped praying for patience because when you pray for patience, your patience gets tested, and it's like I don't want to be tested. I don't want to pass the test. I don't want to fail the test. I don't want to take it. Right? Sorry. Whew. Going back, I think I was a little traumatized. But he said, "I'm gonna surprise you," and I said, "No shade, but your surprises be doing a little much." And like, I love the fact that I get to have that type of relationship with my creator because then I can also be like, "Daddy, this person did it." I be snitching. I do. Like just because I don't say nothing to you, I'm going to say something to God. I'm gonna be real quick with it, and never fails. He be coming through. I try to make sure that my requests are pure. Like I have been like, yo, I know that I shouldn't say this, but it would be lovely if they got like a couple of paper cuts in the most inconvenient places. Just just a little sting. But forgive me for that because I shouldn't want that. But that's how I feel right now. However, this person did this to me and I don't like it. You can do what you want to do with that. I'm telling you how I feel. I'm not saying that should happen to them because, you know, forgiveness or whatever. But I'm just letting you know how I feel. So yeah, I think moving in your purpose should invite in the presence of the Lord. He's here already, but like where you get to fully experience the intimacy of him. And I really believe our intimacy with God is the ultimate secret weapon. Like that's how you're gonna navigate all of the things that don't make sense. Because these rules, they change all the time. But he doesn't. So it makes more sense to be anchored in him. Anyway, I want you to think about beliefs like the lenses on a glass, right? And when I say a belief, when I say a mindset, I mean like a one sentence narrative, right? Meaning, I believe I am worthy simply because I exist. I don't have to do anything. in order to be worthy of love, to be worthy of grace, to be worthy of peace, to be worthy of joy. I believe I am worthy because I was formed. That's it. I believe I am worthy because I'm formed. That can be a belief. It can also be a belief that I believe I'm only worthy if I am proving that I deserve to take up space. So I am acting in a way that allows me to prove that I am worthy. I have to prove my worthiness. And that is also a belief. Now, which belief do you think is going to invite in? Sorry, I feel like I have to sneeze. Which belief do you believe is going to invite in true joy and true peace? Which one invites in people pleasing? Which one invites in feelings of inadequacy, sensitivity to rejection, invites in rejection, invites in never feeling like you're enough, right? And as someone who had to shift from the latter belief of I have to work, I have to be excellent in order to take up space, to be worthy of taking up space, to be worthy of grace, it's shifting to I am worthy because I exist. Even in the same situations, even in situations where things are more chaotic and just very disrupting to my overall equilibrium. She is a Libra, a balancing scale. Not necessarily that I seek balance, I seek discernment. So if it's gonna be up and down, I want it to be up and down. Like I don't like this, right? But just imagine which belief leads to a calm, even in the midst of this. And so when I'm saying belief, that's what I mean. And so when we talk about belief, I want you to think about your belief as if they're the lenses, these huge lenses that low-key need to be cleaned, but here we are. These lenses on the glasses, on your glasses, on any pair of glasses. And let's say you have to rely on glasses for sight. If I have a whole bunch of yogurt and gook and all of those things, it's going to, on my lenses, it's going to be obscuring my view. The clearer that these are, the more attuned to my prescription that these are, the more useful that they are, right? And our beliefs and how we have them framed, how the one sentence narratives that play in our subconscious that drives our actions, they have to be attuned to us. They're going to speak in a way that sounds like how we would speak. Because even if I put on a pair of glasses that somebody else has, and they are prescription glasses, but they're not my prescription, it's still going to obstruct my view, right? And so when we think about this, it's like, how do I generate narrowly tailored one sentence narratives, or in some cases, people call these affirmations, that are going to support the life that I desire to live? And but do we see that, like, based off of the lens, and if you have to rely on this lens to see, right, how that will impact your view? And even if you don't rely on glasses, but they're sunglasses, and you just put on glasses, let's say they don't have any prescription, right? Like, but they got all this stuff, this filth, and all of these things on them, it's still going to impact you. Your beliefs can either provide clarity, or they can be the filth that tamper with how you view life. And we just said that, like, if I can see it, then it can be. But if all that you see is negativity, is lack, is scarcity, is pain, is trauma, then that's all you're going to see and be able to receive. You wouldn't recognize joy. You wouldn't recognize peace. Peace you wouldn't feel comfortable being still in your body if that is how you focus, if that is what you see, right? And so there's this quote, like the revolution won't be televised. I cannot remember who said it, but it's a very common quote. And I actually got the opportunity to watch the full interview because we only hear the revolution won't be televised. But what he's saying, it's not because like, oh, it's just going to happen in like the inner corners of our house. He says that it basically happens in our minds. Like it can't be televised because the revolution starts here. When we think about what people attack, right? Especially when we think about the history of this country and the subjugation of this country, why there are words that are derogatory and we try to dehumanize people. What are they doing? They're planting beliefs because beliefs lead to how you interpret a situation, which will impact your behavior, right? And so when we're talking about this equation with obedient acts, having these obedient acts with like fuzzy belief, you wouldn't even be able to like recognize that your manifestation is in front of you, that you are so close. Let's say my destination is to get to point B, and I have all of this stuff on my glasses, but I've been walking for so long. And the stuff that I have on my glasses, I can't even see that I'm literally 2 steps away from point B. But I'm focused on because I can barely see in front of me. So I'm focused on how my body feels, how long the journey has been, everything I've been through. Right? And it's just like when we begin to arrest how thoughts move in our minds, how we're going to choose to frame how we interpret a situation, that is when we get closer to welcoming in the life that God has for us, right? So I have a very long to-do list, extremely long, so long that I need to take a sip, right? I have an extremely long to-do list. I am tempted to look at it and be extremely overwhelmed, right? Extremely. However, when I sit back and I look at the substance of my to-do list, 90% of this to-do list is literally the fruit of what I've been planning for years. I've wanted a YouTube channel since 2015. I just couldn't figure out what my angle was, what I needed to say. And also, I started law school in 2015. There are people who do YouTube in law school. I was too busy trying to make it. I ain't gonna lie. I was too busy trying to make it. You know, there was a lot going on when I was in law school, right? Mental health was beneath the toilet. So I've wanted to do it for a while. And so like even though I don't feel well but I get to wake up and set up and shoot these videos, right? So like it's a thing I have to do, and then of course I got to go edit it, and then I have to chop it up, and I have to schedule posts and put it on my email, create the journal prompts and all of those different things. I have to do that, but like it's mine. I get to do that. I also have work, and even at work, I go to a job. I am a policy attorney. I go to a job where I'm working with dope people and fighting for my people, for my community. That I don't just say that things are bad. I get to really work to try to do something about it. So do I have a crap ton of emails? Do I have a crap ton of meetings to set up and visioning and strategy and then research and reading and writing and all of that? But it's mine. This is the life that I've built. And so instead of just being overwhelmed, I get to move from a space of gratitude. I get to also be like, okay, Lord, thank you for all the things you put in me, but how do I get this done? Right? What's the strategy? And there are so many of us out there who have these crazy lists, who have these deep, deep, deep goals. And it always feels like it's super far. It always feels like what's what is the formula? What is the way that we can actually get there, right? And I know that life doesn't work off of a checklist, but I think one of the most powerful tools that we have to get to a world of true liberation and freedom is our mind. It is one of your most powerful weapons. And if you guard it, no one can take it from you. And I think the first way to start with that is choosing the frame that is going to support your joy and your peace. So when you look at a situation, right, whether it's your to-do list, whether it's your kid acting up, whether it is an instance with a coworker or a supervisor who is always finding something wrong, who is always moving the goalpost, what is the frame that you're going to choose? And I'm not talking about toxic positivity. I don't know what that is. So I'm not saying don't deal. Like, I can still say I feel overwhelmed and give that to my creator because he says cast your cares. I feel extremely overwhelmed. However, I pray that you give me a peace that surpasses all understanding. I'm grateful that I get to do the things that are on that list. And I need you to guide me and give me the strategy on how to execute it in alignment with your will. What do I prioritize and how do I execute it? In Jesus' name, amen, right? That you get to feel the things, but the reframe is, what are you going to do going forward, right? And so choosing gratitude, choosing whatever the side that is going to cause you to be able to move forward instead of having you stuck and ruminating and just drowning in a flow of emotions. Which one is going to support you? What sentence, what one sentence narrative, what belief is going to support you in being able to move forward? What mindset is going to be able to support you in moving forward? And that's the question, right? When we think about, we get the life that we believe for. Yes, there's these big picture visions, but just in the moment, we make decisions every single day. We get to arrest our mind, arrest the thoughts that say you're not enough, that say you have to do this, this, and this in order to exist, and challenge them. What would happen if they don't get done? What would happen if the list doesn't get done? Is the world over, or are you just gonna have to pivot? So hopefully this is helpful. I'm sorry if it feels all over the place. Give me grace. So if you've lasted this long, hopefully you have subscribed. Please leave a comment. I do read them. They are helpful to know what questions you have, what you're thinking. And if you haven't, join the email listserv subscriber. So subscribe to the YouTube, but also subscribe to like my newsletter, my community check-in. I send those once a week, typically when the new video is uploaded. I aim for Tuesday morning. This is not coming out Tuesday morning. It'll come out Tuesday evening, or afternoon. It's on the Lord and my body. We're gonna do it together. But I put I put in journal questions. I put the last video. Um, but join the listserv, because like I really want this to be a community where we are able to walk it out. Um, and eventually, God willing, we will be able to do meetups virtually and talk and share what we're putting in our journals. But we really have to pace myself. So I thank y'all. Thank you for this time. I feel like this video is longer than usual. So I'm just going to end it here. Y'all have a beautiful day and week.